Hello. In this video, I will show you 7 awesome places to go in Italy and talk about it in detail. Let's get started. The first thing that I highly recommend is visiting the Colosseum in the capital Rome. The Colosseum is one of the most popular tourist points in Italy. It is a beautiful place that has a lot of history involving it. The Colosseum was built to be a theater in the Roman Empire. The building started in the year 72 by the Emperor Vespasian and ended a decade later. The Colosseum is 160 feet tall and has the capacity of 50,000 people. This place had many shows like gladiator battles or drama plays. The gladiator battles included fights of men against each other, men and animals, and even naval battles. In the naval battles, the Romans used to flood the Colosseum to make this event happen, but how they did that is a mystery until today. If you like history, it's definitely a great place to visit, but you have to be prepared because the place is very crowded. To avoid crowds, it's a good idea buying a skip-the-line ticket. The ticket is more expensive, but if you can't stand waiting too long, it is worth it. Now, moving on to the second place that I recommend visiting. The second place is an island located in the south of Italy named Capri. The island is in the Tyrrhenian, a part of the Mediterranean Sea. This island is known to have incredibly blue water beaches and big rock mountains. Capri attracted many celebrities and famous people, but there are still a lot of ordinary tourists. The place is filled with great restaurants and hotels, and it is a quite expensive destination. Although being expensive, there is a more economical part in the island. The island is divided into 2 cities, one named Capri and the other Anacapri. Capri is where most of the luxury and rich people concentrate, but Anacapri is less expensive and with less people. To get to Capri, you need to take a boat from a city on the Italian coast, for example, Naples. There are many tours to do in Capri, like the boat tour that surrounds the island. This boat tour takes around 2 hours, and you can see beautiful natural sights, like the Blue Grotto and Faraglioni, a set of 3 rock formations. Another important tour is in Monte Solaro. Monte Solaro is the highest point in the island, and you can only access it by a cable car. It is located in Anacapri, and from there you can see a stunning view. Now I'm going to talk about the third place to visit in Italy. The third place is the city of Venice. Venice is a city in the north part of Italy that is known for not having roads, but instead rivers. To Venice exist, the founders constructed the buildings and the houses over the water, with the help of giant rafts. We can't see the rafts because they are under the water today. The city was founded by the Veneti after they were expelled by the Ostrogoths and Lombards. The place where they found refuge was the marshlands in the mouth of the river Po, and there where they started to build the city. Venice is the second most visited city in Italy, losing the first spot to Rome. Some cool tourist points in Venice to visit are the St. Mark's Basilica, the Grand Canal, and Teatro La Fenice. The Basilica of St. Mark is a Catholic church, and the most important one in Venice. The church has amazing architecture and was built in the 9th century. Teatro La Fenice is a place that is used to do orchestras and opera. It was inaugurated first time in 1792. The place was destroyed by fires, but was rebuilt in 2003. The Grand Canal is the place with the most water traffic in the city, and the canal cuts the city through the Adriatic Sea. The Grand Canal is also worth visiting. The next place I will talk about is the Cinque Terre. This place is a group of 5 villages located in the north of Italy on the west coast. Those towns are bordered by the Ligurian Sea, an arm of the Mediterranean. The first people that lived in those villages were farmers, and they started living there in the 11th century. The region was under the control of the Maritime Republic of Genoa at that time, and the name Cinque Terre was given by a clerk of this republic. Cinque means 5 in English, and Terre refers to the 5 villages. The villages are Monterosso, Vernazza, Corniglia, Manarola, and Riomaggiore. Cinque Terre has a lot of good tours like the Castello di Riomaggiore that gives you a great view of the city and the sea. Another good tour in the place is Via Colombo, the main street of the Riomaggiore village, and a place filled with good restaurants and bars. A sight that you can't lose in Cinque Terre is the beach of Vernazza, an environment with beautiful sea, many colorful boats, and Roman architecture in the city. The 5th location I recommend is the city of Milan. Milan is a city located in the north of Italy, and has an interesting history and a lot of beautiful sights. Before the Roman invasion, the city was occupied by a Celtic tribe, the Insubres, and they were there since 400 before Christ. In 222 before Christ, the Romans conquered Milan and named it Mediolanum, that soon would be the Western Roman capital. One of the buildings made in the Roman dominion is the Colonna di San Lorenzo, built in the 2nd century. The building consists of 16 Corinthian columns made of marble, and people speculate that it was a pagan temple or a public bathhouse. Those columns are in the front of the Basilica of San Lorenzo, a church that was built 2 centuries later. The church has a statue of the Emperor Constantine in the outer part. The church is big, but not the biggest in the city. The most famous and biggest church in Milan is the Milan Cathedral. The cathedral is really tall and was made in Gothic architecture. It is a Catholic church, and people started to build in the medieval period, but it was fully built a few centuries later. Now, before going on to the next place, make sure to click the like button if you are enjoying the video. The next place I will talk about is the Trevi Fountain. This location, like the Colosseum, it's also in Rome. Trevi Fountain was the last part of the Aqua Vergine, one of the oldest aqueducts of the city that supplied water to Rome. It is a huge fountain that was designed by the architect Nicola Salvi in the 18th century. However, the building was just reconstructed because it already existed before, but was destroyed in Roman battles. Behind the water of the fountain, there is a big building with Roman columns and some god statues. The statue in the middle is the statue of Ocean, a god in Greek mythology. In the left, we see the goddess Abundantia, a goddess from Roman religion, and a personification of abundance and prosperity. On the right, there is the statue of Salus, a Roman goddess that represents safety and health. The place is usually crowded by many people, and an interesting thing is that many of these tourists toss coins in the water. Those coins tossed in the fountain go to charity. If you are doing a tour in the capital Rome, it's definitely a great choice to visit this fountain. The last place I will talk about is the city of Florence. Florence is a city that is about 145 miles far from Rome and was one of the most economically active cities in the Middle Ages. Florence in the 14th century was really powerful and prosperous and concentrated a good part of commerce in Europe. Before the Romans, the area was dominated by the Etruscan civilization, but they lost the battle against the Romans. Romans made Florence a military colony during a period. The city is surrounded by hills, covered with villas, farms, and vineyards. It is a beautiful place, and nowadays its economy is mainly based on tourism. One of the most famous tourist spots is the Cattedrale di Santa Maria del Fiore. This is the 5th biggest Catholic church in Europe and was made to substitute the Basilica di San Lorenzo di Firenze that wasn't big enough to serve the growing population of the region. The church construction was completed in 1436 and then consecrated by Pope Eugene IV. The main architect of the building was Arnolfo di Cambio, and he designed the cathedral in Gothic style. Another good spot to visit is the Uffizi. The Uffizi is the most famous art gallery of Florence and has lots of art from the Renaissance period. There are iconic sculptures and paintings there from great artists of that time. If you are into art, it is a good choice to go there. In Uffizi Gallery, you can see paintings of Botticelli like The Birth of Venus, of Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo sculptures and paintings, and etc. The last spot in Florence I will talk about is a place that you can connect better with nature, and it is the Arno River, the most renowned river in Italy. The river is long and crosses Ponte Vecchio, a famous bridge built in the medieval age. There you can go paddleboarding and take awesome photos. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked this video and want to see other videos related to travels and countries, make sure to subscribe. If you subscribed, leave a comment saying you subscribed, and I will try to reply to everyone.